WorldAware's annual Global Forecast Report looks at various regions around the world, as well as categories including health, environment, terrorism, kidnapping, and transportation. The 2019 report is compiled by expert intelligence analysts across the globe. I'm one of our intelligence analysts here at WorldAware, and I work on the Middle East and North Africa team. In this webinar, I'll be discussing how Qatar has strengthened its economy and become more self-sufficient since the blockade conflict was introduced in 2017. To provide a bit of background, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Bahrain, and the UAE announced in June 2017 that they were cutting diplomatic and transportation ties with Qatar, citing security concerns and accusing Doha of supporting terrorism. The four blockading countries later delivered a list of 13 demands that they said Qatar must comply with to end the dispute. Since the onset of the crisis, no party to the conflict has made any meaningful attempts at reconciliation. Qatar has sustained itself economically and has been pushed towards enhancing relationships with regional rivals, such as Turkey and Iran. The main outcome of the blockade has been a deepening of tensions between blockading countries and Qatar and its allies. Qatar successfully navigated the effects of the blockade in 2018, arguably becoming stronger through its pursuit of diversified foreign and economic policies. After Saudi Arabia and the UAE cut off exports to Qatar, there were concerns that there would be a sharp rise in the cost of basic goods, but Qatar looked to Turkey and Iran to make up for the shortfall. It also rerouted goods through Oman. The blockade has also forced Qatar to diversify its economy and to become more self-sufficient. Its 5-year plan is aimed at developing renewable energy while raising self-sufficiency levels for farming and fishing production. In one of the more ambitious programs to reduce the reliance on milk exports, the country airlifted 3,400 cows to develop a dairy farm that would meet the requirements of nearly the entire population of 2.7 million. Qatar's wealth is enabling these programs to happen. Qatar's implementation of ambitious programs to counter the effects of the blockade will likely embolden the country in 2019. Its success in withstanding the blockade has solidified its notion that it does not need to bend to the will of other regional power brokers to ensure its political and economic survival. Qatar will likely continue to pursue diversified foreign and economic policies with non-traditional partners. Such actions by Qatar are likely to generate stark criticism from the four blockading countries and will be used at the very least as justification for maintaining the blockade against Qatar. The lingering tensions among countries involved in the dispute will almost certainly perpetuate current disinformation and propaganda campaigns. It is also likely that the GCC, which was formerly a body representative of mutual policy concerns and objectives, will be rendered obsolete in the coming years. Its members pursue diverse and sometimes conflicting policy objectives. It appears likely that an era in which the 6 Gulf states pursued unity in policy, particularly in balancing other regional influences, has given way to a period of more diversified objectives. Significant changes in operational effects related to the Qatar blockade are unlikely in 2019. Additional announced changes in regional policies towards Qatar are likely to be primarily symbolic rather than functional. Businesses are most likely to be primarily affected through sustained restrictions on shipping and passenger transit routes. The boycotting countries continue to bar direct flights to and from Qatar and prevent Qatar from utilizing their airspace. Similarly, shipments to and from Qatar must still route through a neutral country. It's highly likely that such arrangements will remain the status quo through 2019. Doha, with its vast LNG supplies and massive cash reserves, has the financial wherewithal and regional relationships to weather the blockade for the foreseeable future. Qatar will continue to withstand the economic and diplomatic blockade imposed by the quartet and may eventually come out ahead. Political and security developments with the countries involved will likely be taken as additional opportunities to bolster positions in the conflict. Qatar's ambitious goal to become more self-sufficient further lessens the effects of the blockade and regional influence of the quartet, allowing Doha to pursue independent policies without the kinds of reprisals that were imagined at the beginning of the crisis. Thank you for learning more about the Middle East and North Africa topic as covered in the 2019 Global Forecast. Tweet your questions using the hashtag Global Forecast 2019, and I will respond to your questions relating to the Middle East and North Africa region. For more information about the 2019 Global Forecast report and to download an executive summary and security assessment rating maps, visit the WorldAware website.